Hello everybody, welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Scott, joined by Josh.
Hello, Scott.
Josh, my friend, we need to talk about Halo. We can talk about all sorts of things that are just ridiculous, all sorts of things that are kind of up in the air, but there is some good stuff to come out of this initially. This comes from WCCF Tech, who apparently noticed that on the Smith's Toy company's website, Halo is now listed as having 120 FPS free-to-play multiplayer. So we should talk about that first, because there's some other stuff going on with Halo Infinite that's just all over the place. But what do you think about them going down the route of a free-to-play multiplayer Halo?
Oh, it's weird, isn't it? It's very strange. I feel like everything about this multiplayer component has kind of been up in the air, even though it's been debunked now. There were rumors that it wasn't going to come at launch. Now there's rumored and seemingly confirmed that it's going to be kind of a free-to-play experience, which is, on the one hand, quite different. Obviously, you know, the Halo multiplayer is always kind of like shipped with the Halo games. We've had the Master Chief Collection, which was a huge success, bringing back those old
after like
servers.
Yeah.
When it was finally fixed. And this would be a kind of, you know, a completely different move, but not a daft one, I don't think, because imagine you're shifting a console. You've got the Xbox Series X to push out, you know, at the end of the year, and you've got a bunch of people buying this machine, ravenous for content. Imagine if you're not a Halo lover. You don't get them at launch every single year. You're looking for something to play, and then there is Halo's multiplayer just sat there ready for you to install. Theoretically, you could get eyes of every single person who buys an Xbox Series X on Halo's multiplayer as soon as they pick up the console, just so they have something to play. So it kind of supports the idea that we've been talking about, and I suppose everyone has to an extent, about Microsoft just using the consoles and the games themselves now as kind of an excuse to get people into their platforms and into their services. And I think this is just reflective of that, you know, increased push.
Do you think they will do a battle royale?
Yes, I mean they're gonna have to, right? Listen, I don't know if I want it, right? But they got to do one. I mean, you look at Call of Duty Warzone now, just how well that's doing. That's free to play, you know. Obviously, Fortnite, that's free to play.
Does anyone play that though? Does anyone on
Fortnite? What? Scott Tilford. Warzone, and I do not say this lightly, has been probably the most fun I've had this year playing games. I have embraced Battle Royale now, thanks to Call of Duty Warzone. Maybe because I've not played Ori, but it's a huge success. So many people play it, so many people look forward to the updates, and I feel like, you know, whether I necessarily want one or not, I don't think I'd play much Halo Battle Royale, but I feel like it probably won't be the whole part of this free-to-play experience, but I'm sure they've got to have one, you know, just because it's a major shooter franchise, and all major shooter franchises now need to have a Battle Royale.
And the thing is, if you're going to do a battle royale, you're going to do a standalone multiplayer, it just needs to be free. Like Rocket Arena has come out and already died. That thing's already been discounted by like 80% or whatever to try and get people in. Most people, it's EA's new shooter, by the way, not for you, but for people who don't know what that is, that's already discounted so much to get people in because it just hasn't launched very well because of the price tag. But in Halo's case, like, you know, even as of a couple of weeks ago, there was the rumor doing the rounds that the multiplayer wasn't going to be ready for launch. And a member of, I forget the specific dude from 343 who came out and tweeted and said, look, that's debunked, you know, like nothing to see here. And maybe that is because they're actually going the other way, and the multiplayer, you know, the 120 frames per second and whatever is going to be this like flagship thing that they can put out. It's just a weird beat, because they also said that Halo Infinite going forward, they're not going to do another Halo for at least 10 years, and they want to plug stuff into Halo Infinite and treat it like a game as a service or a platform or whatever. So assumedly, because the main game is already on Game Pass, then the standalone thing can be this free-to-play thing outside of that, and maybe that's their way of encouraging you to then sign up to Game Pass to get the full Halo Infinite experience.
Totally.
As you know, like there's a lot of stuff. We might as well get into the weird stuff with Halo Infinite, because there was the whole thing about the build actually being on PC, that what we saw at the Xbox conference or the live stream wasn't actually Xbox footage, and the potential failsafe for that was that actually it's a few months old, don't worry about it, that's why Craig looks ridiculous, that's why all these different character models look stupid, and even the official screenshots look a bit naff. Oh well, it's a few months old, don't worry about it. It's not. They've now said that build was only like 3 weeks old or a few weeks old, so that's nigh on what we're getting, although they have said the graphics will improve towards launch, but launch is only like 3 months away. So like there's that side of it. There's more specifics to get into in regards to 343 seemingly imploding, but what's your general thoughts on the build stuff?
I don't know, man. Like we've done a few videos on this in this week. Like probably the most Halo videos we've ever done within such a concentrated time period. Yeah, definitely. And I started them, defending it, saying, it might be all right. It's fine. It's a work in progress.
You want to believe, right? Yeah.
I want to believe it's going to be good. But like the more news or leaks or whatever comes out, and even the more that 343 and Microsoft start clarifying stuff, the more confusing it gets. Because the kind of get out of jail free card was that the build was a few months old, understandably because people are working from home and stuff now, or were when it was getting produced. But now, like you said, it's been confirmed that it's only several weeks old, and like that's not really encouraging for a game that ships in 3 months' time, I guess. It's almost August now, so it's incoming, it's imminent. There's not much you can do to change the fundamental concerns that players and fans have about the way it looks, the multiplayer side of things and stuff like that. Craig's face or whatever, and I don't know what's going on, Scott Till, because they've had 5 years, and there have been a lot of less substantiated rumors doing the rounds currently about apparently internal conflicts, things falling apart and stuff like that. But that's whether those are believable or not. I'm not sure. Whether there's conjecture based on the kind of perceived current state, it's unclear.
It's super easy to get carried away with like, oh my god, the whole thing's on fire. I do think it's weird putting out as an official screenshot something that doesn't look whatsoever next gen, and then trying to fall back under the guise of like, well, we're aiming for nostalgic Halo, we're aiming for old school Halo. Like there's a way to do throwback stuff, hence Crash Spyro, Crash Team. Like I think there are ways to do throwback stylistic stuff that isn't just it looks like an original Xbox game or Xbox 360 game or whatever. But in regards to the internal stuff, this sort of has been doing the rounds online. It kind of came from some Glassdoor reviews, which is like a website you can go on, you can leave anonymous reviews of different companies if you want to get some things out there or whatever. And so some employee reviews for 343 pointed to just how terribly that place is run. Obviously that then hinges on those individuals, and they're not going to necessarily be representative of the company overall, because disgruntled employees tend to go on that website to get stuff out there, depending on circumstance. But in regards to this, they said that 343's general internal communication is terrible, and if you want to try and get information between different teams, you're kind of waiting on email feedback. And also, this came from Review Tech USA saying that he had an insider from 343 saying that originally Halo Infinite was meant to be a massively open world game that would span the entirety of a Halo ring. They couldn't get that to necessarily work. They had a big engine change or a big tech overhaul, and that's why we're now left with the version that we have now. And so taking both those things together, it doesn't seem like Halo Infinite has had the smoothest of launches or development cycles, definitely on the development side. But even the Master Chief Collection, it was always baffling how they messed that up so much, and maybe just 343 just aren't doing very well.
Well, that's it, man. Like, you can look at these kind of reports or these, reviews left by former employees and stuff, and kind of think, well, maybe they're kind of blown out of proportion. Maybe they're, just rumors or whatever. Maybe they're just kind of, being exaggerated. But then, it's kind of backed up by the products that have actually been shipped. Like, I'm a huge fan of Halo 4. For what it's worth. Couldn't get into Halo 5. Obviously, that game had a lot of problems with its, marketing, its focus, the way that players, reacted to it. Then, like you said, the Master Chief Collection was just a total garbage fire for such a long time, and no one really understood how you managed to mess up a project of that scale. So it's not like these rumors come alongside a studio that's been hit after hit after hit, and then has kind of wobbled a bit with the release of Infinite. Like this has presumably been building for a long time over now 3 major releases, you know what I mean? So it's not like the signs are not there. And some of these claims might be fabricated, but often it's the case of there's no kind of there's no smoke without fire, I think is the old saying.
Yes, and this thing is most definitely aflame, because just everything that they've put out. I mean, at this stage, 343 should be Microsoft's or Xbox's Naughty Dog. They should be one of those like top tier. Oh my god, I can't believe they're pulling this stuff off on a graphical sense or a motion capture sense or whatever. They should be turning heads. I think that's what everybody was expecting with Halo Infinite. And it is just weird that this close to launch, and this long after such a massive mistake with the Xbox One as well, they could potentially be repeating history in terms of just not getting it right. And I know that the fallback on Phil Spencer's side is like, well, we're not really going down the exclusive route, and we're going to go down Game Pass, and we just want to be everywhere and whatever. But I don't know, just there's a lot of things that aren't really lining up. It just seems like there's a Jason Schreier Bloomberg report around the corner, just sort of about to shine a giant spotlight on everything that's going wrong. Because is your general feeling right now just what the hell? Because that's what
a little bit, yeah. Like I want to see what's going on, but considering like this, if this game was a year away from coming out, I would have given it so much more leeway than I have started to give it over the past couple of days.
That was apparently one thing from the review tech video, was that apparently when they had this whole giant open world Halo idea, when they started pivoting towards like, oh, we can't actually get that done, so we're going to do this smaller scale one, keep some open world environments, but we can't do the full thing. That was part of that, was that apparently they needed more time, but they were convinced they could get it done for this year. And it does look like something that needs more time, like just in a sheer rendering texture sense.
Yeah, if this was just another Halo, again, I would give it more leeway. But the fact that they're billing this as kind of, it's the Halo platform for the next 10 years. This is the version of the game you're going to be playing for the next decade. This is why you want the console. This is why you want a console. This is why you want to support Xbox. And I'm just like, I don't see any compelling evidence to convince me of that fact. I really want this free-to-play idea to go well. I want it to get people in. I want it to give them the freedom to do interesting things. But again, this is coming out in a few months, and we've seen one gameplay trailer that kind of underwhelmed, and I just need to have more confidence.
Same. I mean, let us know what you think down in the comments below. What's your general state on Halo? Do you want to give 343 the benefit of the doubt, or does it seem like things might just be not lining up very well? And would you buy a Series X for something other than Halo at this point? For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
I've been Josh from WhatCulture.com.
I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.